Hi guys, Niall here from Founder Copilot, the place where I help people build, launch, optimize and monetize their online business with WordPress, SEO, affiliate marketing, AdSense and a whole lot more. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how easy it is to install WordPress on your own computer so you can work offline without the need to rely on your own web hosting. I'm also going to highlight some of the benefits of working on your local computer in the early stages of a project and why it's best practice to do so until you're ready to publish your website online. And if any of this sounds complicated, don't worry. This tutorial is intended for beginners and doesn't require any coding whatsoever. And most importantly guys, all of the tools I'm about to show you in this tutorial are completely free and ideal for those who are starting out with a limited budget. So without further delay, why don't we just get started and download MAMP. Okay guys, so the first step I want you to do is to open up your web browser and I want you to search for a tool called MAMP, okay? So when you search for MAMP, you'll see the first result there is mamp.info. That's the website that we want. So before I download MAMP, I think it's worth just explaining what exactly MAMP is, just so you guys have an understanding of the tool you're working with. So put simply, MAMP is a popular free tool that will allow you to run a local server environment on your own computer. And this way you can install WordPress locally. And when I say locally, I'm referring to the process of building and testing your website on your own computer, as opposed to building and testing your website on your web hosting. So in the early stages of website development, it's best practice to work locally until you're ready to move to your live hosting and to publish your website to live hosting. And this is mainly because working locally allows you to build and test your website independently of your own web hosting. And this has lots of benefits. But rather than highlighting all of the benefits of working locally in this video, what I'll do is I'll leave a link to my blog which will have an article that will explain this topic in more detail. So check that out if you want to know more about working locally and the benefits of working locally. For now, we're just going to get started and download MAMP. And so when I click on the free download link here, it will bring me to this landing page where you can download MAMP for various platforms. And because I'm on a Mac, I'm going to go ahead and click on the Mac link here. And I'm just going to let it do its thing and download. Okay, so the download has finished downloading and I can now unpack the installation package and just continue with the installation. Okay, so once the installer is ready, you'll see the standard Mac installation steps here. So I'm just going to go through these standard steps here. I'm going to agree to the terms and conditions from MAMP. I'm going to just install it on the standard hard drive, not a special location on my computer, just the standard location. I'm going to continue through the steps. It's going to ask me for to enter my Mac password, so I'm going to enter that. Okay, so you can see the installation was successful there. All you need to do here is just close the installation window here, move the actual installation package to your trash because you don't really need it anymore. I'm going to go ahead and close Safari as well. So before we create our website, we just want to test to make sure MAMP is actually working correctly. So what I want you to do is open up your hard drive and come over to your applications folder. And I want you to come down to the MAMP folder here, and you can see here that this is all of the installation files for MAMP. What I want you to do right now is just go ahead and click on the MAMP icon, and that will open up a new window here. And this is your kind of start window for MAMP. This is an advertisement that pops up. You can actually just X out of that and check don't show it again. But yeah, this is your main start page. The main button I want you to focus on right now is this Start Servers button, which essentially just starts the local servers. So let's go ahead and test that out. So go ahead and press it there. And you can see here that when the servers are loading, I'll just go back to the screen there. Both of your MySQL server and your Apache servers are now green. That just tells you that the servers are working. When everything's working as it should, you'll land on this start page. So this is the MAMP start page. So when you see this, you know the installation has gone correctly, and from here we can move forward and actually go ahead and create our first website. So to get WordPress up and running on your website, let's just get started, and let's go ahead and hide Safari. What I want you to do is to navigate to your hard drive. Let's go to the applications folder where your MAMP installation is. I want you to look for the MAMP folder. And inside the MAMP folder, the folder I want you to pay attention to is htdocs, okay? So essentially that's the root folder of your web server. And to add any websites and work on any websites, you'll need to add folders inside this htdocs folder, as it's the root folder for your server. And it's the same as a web hosting configuration. You might see htdocs in some root folders for web hosting. It's the same kind of thing. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new folder for my new test website. I'm just going to call it test website. And inside test website, I will be installing the the WordPress installation files. Just before I do that, I want you to just, let's just have a look at what this looks like on the front end. It's not going to be too impressive, but let's have a quick look at when you open up the URL for the start page of MAMP, what you can do is if you delete everything past the figures 8888, it will bring you to the root directory, that htdocs directory of MAMP, okay? And you can see there the folder I just created from my website, test website. There it is there. If I click on it, nothing's there because I haven't added WordPress. So not too impressive, but let's go ahead and change that and add WordPress to the test website folder. And so to download WordPress, all you need to do is open up a new tab in your browser and search for wordpress.org. And wordpress.org is the free version of WordPress. It's the open source version. So what you want to do is come up to the main button here, Get WordPress, and you'll come to this landing page here where you can simply download WordPress. And as of the recording of this video, the latest version of WordPress is 5.3.2. So I'm just going to go ahead and download that. And the download shouldn't take long because it's not a large file. So, okay, so my WordPress file has completed downloading. So I'm going to go ahead and place this folder inside my test website folder I just created. So I'll go ahead and I'll hide Safari, and again this is my test website folder, the folder that I want to place the WordPress folder inside of. So I'll go ahead and place that inside the test website folder, and you can see that all of the files and folders that make up WordPress, you can see them all there. But rather than have it inside this WordPress folder that's also inside the test website folder, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of these files and folders, and I'm going to move them inside the test website folder, because currently they're inside the WordPress folder. And so I've selected all of the 19 files that make up WordPress there, and I've just moved them inside the test website folder. So what I can do now is I can just delete the WordPress, the empty WordPress folder. And at this point, I have all of the WordPress files and folders that make up WordPress, and I can now see the start page for WordPress. So what we'll do is we'll go back to Safari, and we'll go back to the root directory of our local server. Again, just to remember where we are. So this is the root folder of your local server. We've created the test website folder in the root. So if I go ahead and click test website, what I'll see now is the start page for WordPress. And the reason we're seeing that is because we put all of the WordPress files and folders inside the test website directory. You can see it here in the URL. Okay? So you're nearly there. This is the start page. This is basically where you install and configure WordPress so you can get your website up and running. And as you can see here, you've got a selection of languages to choose from. In my case, I'm going to go ahead and select English, and I'm going to select Continue. So the next screen you're going to see is the screen that basically asks you for your database information. Okay, so when I was starting out, I remember this was quite a daunting thing, creating a database. So essentially what WordPress is looking for at this point is for you to create a database so you can house all of the data, pages, posts, all that kind of thing, so you can store that in a database. And essentially WordPress needs a database to function properly. So it's one of these things that for me it was quite daunting, hearing the word database and creating a database, configuring a database. It sounds complicated. However, WordPress and MAMP have made it super easy. So why don't we just step right through it, and I'll walk you through each step in the process. So what we want to do at this point again is create a database and connect it to WordPress. So to do that, let's come back to MAMP. And what I'm going to do is press on the open, the start page for MAMP. And I want you to check out this link here. It's a pretty inconspicuous link on the MAMP start page here. It's called PHP MyAdmin. And PHP MyAdmin is essentially the area where you can create, manage, and maintain your databases for one website and for many websites. In this case, let's not get too complicated. We just want to create one database for our WordPress installation. So let's go ahead and click on PHP MyAdmin. I'm just going to close some tabs here just to keep things tidy. So we've got our, okay. So yeah, so once you hit on the, again, the PHP MyAdmin link, it will open up this PHP MyAdmin area, okay? And at this point, all I want to do is create a database. So I'm going to come over here to New, which is New Database. I'm going to hit New, and you'll see here that you'll have the option to enter a database name for your database. And you know, for me, I like to keep things simple. I usually just enter this. So in this case, it's a test website. So I'm just going to say test website, and I usually go _DB. The thing is, with a database name, just try and keep it, relevant to your website. The thing about it is, once you put this on a live server, generally you'll probably have to change the database name anyway. So this is really just for a local installation, so you don't need to think too hard about it. But for me, I'm just going to call it test website _DB. It's a name I'll remember, so I'll recognize it in the list of databases if I create lots of databases. So I'm going to go ahead and create that database. So you can see the database is now created, and I can see it here. It has no content or tables at all attached to it, and tables are just the items that store all your data in the database. That's simply put. I won't go too far into it. So you've created your database. It's called test website _DB. So let's come back to the WordPress page. So we've created a database, username and password. Let's come to that. Okay, so let's move on and come to the next step. So when you hit that button, let's go, you'll then land on this page here, which will ask you to enter your database name, your username, and your password, and your host. And you're probably thinking, what are those? What is username and password? Well, let's start with entering the database name first. So test website DB _DB is what the database name is. And then for username and password, you'll be glad to know you don't need to remember any passwords for a local installation. All you need to do is enter the word root, or OOT. Root for both username and root for password as well. Localhost the database host will stay the same. That's always localhost, or it usually is localhost. You never need to change that. And in my time of developing websites, and I've developed many websites, I've never changed this. So you can leave that too. But just going back to the username and password, in a local installation, you don't need to worry about coming up with a username and password for your installation. It's on your computer, so you don't need to worry too much about security or anything like that. What you do need to do though is when you put the local WordPress website, when you publish that to a live server, you will need to change this username and password. I'll cover that in a different video because there's more to understand that side of it. But for now, we have everything we need to connect the database we just created to WordPress. We have our database name, our username, and our password, which is the same. We have our database host, which is localhost. And let's go ahead and just click submit. And you can see here then that tells you that you've connected the database you've just created to WordPress. So you've got through most of the steps of this installation. At this point, we can go ahead and run the installation to make sure that everything is working as it should. And at this point, this is a screen that you want to see. All this is asking you to do is to enter in your website, the name of your website, and the username and password for the admin area of WordPress. Okay, so let's continue on and finish up the installation. So site title, so for this one, because my website's called Test Website, I'm just going to call the site title will be Test Website, and you can put in whatever name you want for this. This name will show up in the admin dashboard of WordPress, and you can always change it later. And so for the username, you're just going to want to think of a username that you'll remember easily. In my case, I'm just going to enter my first name, Niall. And for the password, again, this is a suggested password from WordPress, and it's pretty strong, so I'm just going to stick with that. Because I was testing this out before I recorded the video, I did enter this email here, but this field would be blank. But for now, I've just entered in a fake email address there just for the purposes of this demo video. And I think at this point we're good to go. We don't want to check this one, we can leave that unchecked. So yeah, we've got our site title, we've got our username, our password, and just keep note of the password and the username. I'm just going to copy this to the clipboard because this is something that you'll need to log back into to WordPress. So again, keep track or keep a record of your username and your password so that you can log back into or log into WordPress for the first time. Once you log in for the first time, you'll be able to save it to your browser. But let's go ahead and let's install WordPress. So you've got all the details you need. Let's hit the installation button and finish up the installation. And there you can see that you've successfully installed WordPress on your own computer. So you can pat yourself on the back for that. All of the hard work is done. You've connected the database. And again, at this point, you want to log into your WordPress website for real. So this is where you want to remember or enter in the details that you've just entered for the finishing steps of the installation there. So I've copied the password to my clipboard, so I can just go ahead and I can save this password. For now, I'm just going to say not now. So this is your dashboard, your WordPress dashboard, your administration dashboard for your website. You can see that the name of your website is shown up here. In my case, it's called Test Website. And again, this dashboard is the place where you manage your website, where you can do everything you need to, create pages, create posts, to optimize your website for Google, to install themes, to customize those themes. And all of these things I'll show you in the next group of videos I'll do. And I'll publish those on my website, foundercopilot.com, and on my YouTube channel. But for now, pat yourself on the back. You've come a long way. You've installed WordPress locally on your own computer. From here, you can grow and you can build on that and make something really great for the web. Just before I go, I'm just going to show you how you're currently looking at the dashboard, which is going to be your home for the next while you create your website. But just to see the front end of your website, all you do is just come up to the visit site link here, and I'm just going to open that up here. And yeah, for now we don't have a theme. This is the standard free theme that you get from WordPress, so nothing spectacular, but just wanted to show you how you actually access the front ends, as you'll need to know that. But for now, I'll cover a lot more. There's a lot more to WordPress than what you're looking at now. And again, I'll be able to show you everything you need to not only customize the dashboard you're looking at, but to customize the front end and optimize it for Google. But for now, thanks so much for watching and have a great day. Okay guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. And if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button and you'll never miss an update. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon.